right now on Morning Drive. It's Pebble Beach week where 5 of the top 10 in the world tee off this morning.
Playing here at Pebble Beach, just fantastic golf holes. I mean, some of the best in the world.
A win here could help myself up in the world rankings pretty quickly. That's the way that I want to start the year off.
I'm excited to be back. Looking forward to starting a busy run.
We picked a favorite and our favorite holes at the iconic Seaside course. And Wellness Week rolls on today with food news. Learn how to eat this, not that on the course. And do you need more sleep? The doctor is in with a prescription to catch more Z's and new information on the dangers of not sleeping enough. But we're wide awake this morning, Thursday, February 8th, 2018. Good morning, everybody. We are wide awake on this Thursday edition of Morning Drive. If you're a golf fan at home, you have a treat this week. PGA Tour champions in action. 3 of the top players in the world are playing at Pebble Beach, and there's just so much happening, especially on the European Tour where they're switching things up a bit as we welcome in Ewan Porter, 2-time Web.com Tour winner, our man Tom Abbott, and the birthday girl, Paige McKenzie, here to celebrate with us this morning.
Where's the cake?
I don't know. You didn't bring it. I asked you to bring it.
Oh, my goodness.
This is actually the disappointment of the day.
Yeah.
I was very much looking forward to cake.
It's Wellness Week. You can't have cake. That was the answer.
Good
Okay,
point.
big day in Philly. The 5-hour, 5-mile-long parade could draw up to 2 million people, they are saying, to celebrate the Super Bowl champs. Schools are closed. Businesses have shut down. The parade begins at 11 a.m. Eastern, but there are already hundreds of thousands of people, as you can see, flocking to the city center. The only bad thing, Chantel, the wind chills in the mid-20s.
Well, also the fact that they beat my Patriots, so it's a very sort of subject. But here he is, the kicker, Jake Elliott for the Eagles. He needed to spend a little time keeping himself busy. Some people like to read, some people pace, but he decided he was going to practice his putting on a unique surface, Paige.
He went with the wood floor, which it's a little controversial. I feel like you might be over preparing for fast greens because typically I go for like a light grain carpet.
Maybe he's doing a Tony Romo. He's trying to prepare for a major championship, quick greens, and he's certainly putting better than what I do there.
Good stroke.
Stiff meter. I wonder what it reads there. All right, happening now today. It's the kickoff of the AT&T Pebble Beach program. In 2009 and 2010 winner Dustin Johnson playing with Wayne Gretzky and the defending champ Jordan Spieth. Talked about putting. This guy's working on his. They tee off at 11:22 a.m. Eastern. They begin on the Spyglass Hill course.
Another one of the marquee groupings on day one. Phil Mickelson and Rory McIlroy play together today with their amateur partners Jimmy Dunn and Jerry McIlroy. Jerry is Rory's father, of course. They will play Spyglass Hill today, Monterey Peninsula tomorrow, Pebble Beach Golf Links on Saturday, and then hopefully again on Sunday.
Yeah, and over at the World Super 6 in Perth, Lee Westwood shot a 66 to be in second place after the first round. This course, Lake Karrinyup in Western Australia, has a history of producing some illustrious winners. Ernie Els, Retief Goosen, Louis Oosthuizen, Thorbjorn Olesen, they've all won there. I don't think it'd be any surprise to see the former world #1 hoist the trophy at the end of the week.
And the big day is near. Our Charlie Rymer makes his official PGA Tour Champions debut this week in the Boca Raton Championship. It has been more than a decade since Charlie has teed it up in an official event, and he has shared his journey back to competitive golf and given us a front row seat in the Rymer project. He is set to tee off at noon tomorrow with Ken Tanigawa and Ken Jones. Good luck, Charlie.
I've been watching that Ryman project. His producer loves the camera, doesn't it? It's more about the producer than it is about Charlie. It's time to widen your world, presented by Turkish Airlines, taking you around the world of golf. Pebble, 77th playing of the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. Bing Crosby created the tournament at Rancho Santa Fe many years ago. Second edition of the Sixes in Perth, Australia for the European Tour. PGA Tour Champions begins tomorrow with their first mainland USA event of 2018 in Boca. The Web.com Tour in Colombia at the Bogota Country Club. By the way, the Ladies European Tour also in action in Australia this week in the Australian capital, Canberra.
Lots and lots of golf, but the spotlight, of course, on the PGA Tour right here at Pebble Beach, an iconic course. So many people have this on their bucket list to play, and even the pros have been bragging about it, posting on social media non-stop about how excited they are for this week. The top 3 players in the world, Dustin Johnson, Jon Rahm, Jordan Spieth, all in the field, and 5 of the top 10 in the world total are there. So let's take our pick and talk about this course, it being an iconic and historic course. I was reading in the 1930s, it was $2 to play. Now you're looking at $500 or upward. So when it comes to the iconic holes, Paige, I'll start with you. What's your favorite?
It's an embarrassment of riches, Pebble Beach is. And I have to choose maybe the most cliched hole of them all in the 18th. But it is. It's so beautiful. I love the fact that there is the tree in the middle of the fairway. I don't typically like obstacles in the fairway, but it is so, it's so iconic. It's so much a part of this reachable par 5, and it's only reachable to the very longest. But I love the idea that you can finish a round and have that risk reward that's involved in the finishing hole.
Well, you're right. It's iconic, that finish. But for something a little more obscure, I'm going to say the third hole at Pebble Beach. It's one that doesn't seem to get the notoriety of the other holes. But I remember watching the 2010 US Open. Dustin Johnson took that lead into the final round, and he made a triple bogey on the second hole. Obviously a little frustrated teeing it up on 3. It's a dogleg left. Fairly short hole. For most players, it's a 3-wood down the right side, maybe 110, 120 yards in. Dustin hits driver, tries to take it over the corner there on the left, and wouldn't you know it, he was a little over-ambitious and hit it into the junk there and never found his ball. They were looking for it for at least 5 minutes there, but it's a wonderful hole. Beautiful, beautiful view on that second shot approaching the green with the water in the background, but it certainly can be a make or break hole, one that the players would be hoping for a birdie, but if you try to bite off a little more than you could chew, perhaps a double bogey or a triple awaits.
Everything about this golf course. You have so many of the scenic golf holes along the coastline, but then you also have just the challenges in the course layout. Every single hole feels like its own individual little challenge. I think that's why it's held the test of time in all these other major championships as well as this regular PGA Tour event.
Was it last year you were there with the rain? Was that 2 years ago?
It was. That was my rookie initiation. It was my first PGA Tour event for Golf Central, and yeah, they threw me out in an umbrella and rain gear, and I was right at 18 and almost blew into the ocean, not even exaggerating. There's video evidence of this on social media. I did it for a TBT, actually.
So if the weather's good or the weather's bad, we don't know how it's going to play out, but let's assume it's going to be pretty decent out there. Who do we watch?
Well, I'm keeping my eye on Phil Mickelson, and I know this is a fan favorite, but there's reason for him to be a favorite this week, and that is because he's coming off of a great event last week at the Waste Management Open, tied for 5th. But more than that, he's had incredible success here. He's a 4-time winner. It was runner-up as recent as 2016, but his wins date back all the way to 1998. Was also a tied for 4th at the US Open here. So it's one of those, he's one of those players where it's going to happen. He's had 13 top 5 finishes and 6 runner-ups since his last PGA Tour win, which was the Open back in 2013. He's trending in the right direction. It's got to happen at some point. I think I'm probably going to pick Phil Mickelson to win every single week until it does happen. But of all the courses and all the places that it could, I think it's most likely here.
Well, plus his performance at the Phoenix Open last week, we saw some brilliant pieces of Phil the Thrill. All right, Ewan, what do you think?
Well, Phil, just one last nugget on Phil. His position inside the top 50 in the world was under threat last week, starting at number 49 after 25 consecutive years, and to finish that high up and improve his ranking was pretty impressive. But for someone a little different, again, I'm going to go with Maverick McNeely this week. He's a local boy. He's playing on a sponsor's invitation. He was #1 amateur in the world. He broke all of Tiger's records at Stanford. And I watched him play at the Walker Cup last year at Los Angeles Country Club. And all of those guys playing, representing the United States and Europe, were all so talented. But the way he conducted himself, just how professional he was on and off the golf course, you could tell that he's not really going to ride the emotional roller coaster through his professional career like many of us, yours truly too. But he was an impressive young player, and I think playing in front of his home fans this week, I look for him to be right up there.
What a fun start to his PGA Tour career.
And
Yeah,
playing
with your dad.
playing with his dad as well.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Well, let's switch gears to the European Tour now. They're in Australia for the ISPS Handa World Super 6 Perth. Is that anywhere near home for you, Ewan? Perth.
What's that, sorry, Tom?
Where is Perth compared to where you're from?
I'm from Sydney. Perth is Western Australia. That's over on the west coast, so about 5 hours west. But gee, they have some great golf courses over there on the ocean and some wonderful, wonderful scenery. Lots of kangaroos around this golf course.
Well, Danny Willett's sort of kangarooing the wrong way at the moment. This at the 9th, plugged in the face of the bunker, and you can see really
He said
unhappy
literally
with
the wrong way.
that. Literally the wrong way. He would make a triple bogey 7. 76 for Danny Willett. He's had 2 missed cuts this season. Hand has a top 10 on the European Tour in almost a year. Lee Westwood, though, playing well. 11th last week. Chip in there at the 15th, having started on the back nine. That was an eagle for Westwood, moved to 4 under par on the day. To his final 9 of the day, this was his second at the 6th.
Yeah, and birdies on the 2nd and the 3rd moving into this hole. And you can see Lee Westwood finishing strong. I love that. A little side spin, a little draw spin, maybe a little help with the ridge as well.
He would get to 7 under there. He finished his round at 6 under, a 66 for Westwood in the opening round. The world number 53, Kiradech Afebanrat. This was at the 6th for a birdie, long birdie putt to get to 5 under par.
Yeah, that was due to birdies on 1 through 4, which was his second 9 of the day.
67 for Afebanrat. Brett Rumford is looking for his 7th European Tour victory. He was struggling to get starts on the tour 12 months ago before he won this event. James Nitties was once a competitor on the extremely popular Golf Channel show Big Break. I don't know if you ever saw it. It was fabulous. Westwood is in good form, as we mentioned. Wade Ormsby won the UBS Hong Kong Open this season. He is currently 8th in the race to Dubai. Now, just a reminder, the Super 6 Perth is part of this new initiative of European Tour events. There will be a cut after 36 holes, as normal, then another cut to the top 24 after 54 holes, with a sudden death playoff to break the ties. The remaining players will play 6-hole matches. There'll be 6 of those to determine a champion. All the players who make the 36-hole cut will cash a paycheck.
There's going to be a test on that.
There's a lot going on for the European Tour this week. So let's talk about the sort of way the European Tour has changed things up a bit. What do you think about it, Ewan?
They've taken some great initiatives, haven't they, over the past 18 months? I think it all started with the little Billy interviews that we saw, you know, little 5-year-old kid interviewing and giving cheek to some of the older players. But we've seen music on the range, and we saw the Golf Sixes in England with mascots last year. And this format's a little different again with the 6-hole match play. I think everyone was a little sceptical last year as to how it would pan out, but with Brett Rumford winning and having won the stroke play as well, he obviously likes this golf course. He's a local boy, but I think it's such a great opportunity for like an unheralded player, an unheralded young Australian player specifically who doesn't have a tour card. If they win this event, 2-year exemption on the European Tour, not to mention $500,000 in their pocket. Good start to the year.
Is it too gimmicky?
I think there's an argument for that, yes. But you know, I guess personally, it really should highlight the best player. Like winning a tournament should be the best player. And last year, Brett Rumford won, and the guy that he beat, or the player that he beat in the final was, I'm not going to try and pronounce his name, but a young Thai player, 17 years old, who was 24. So he was the final seed to go into that match play. And he was actually 13 strokes behind Brett Rumford after 3 rounds of the stroke play.
Which can happen in match play.
It can. So I guess there's an argument there that if the Thai player had have won, well then, you know, it really wasn't showcasing the best player that week. But look, it's something different, and it's breaking away from the monotony of 72-hole stroke play week after week. And I think once in a while, it's not really a bad thing.
Well, and we're talking about it. Wasn't that the whole point of them putting it together? The fact that they wanted to get people interested. I mean, we talk about
They
Topgolf.
Specifically wanted it on morning drive.
Right. Did they tell you that in Australia?
Well, we've been talking about what is happening now in the world of sport. The Winter Olympics, of course, begins today in Pyeongchang, South Korea. The opening ceremony is tomorrow. And, of course, you can see the games on the networks of NBC. And it is all hands on deck at the network. Even morning drive hosts have been called into action. Damon Hack is on assignment at the games covering the biathlon, and he joins us now from South Korea.
Tom, greetings from the Alpensia Biathlon Center, host of Olympic Biathlon for the next couple of weeks. I'll be here taking a break from the golf and morning drive. Actually, this is my second time covering the Olympics. I was in Athens back in 2004. Now, behind me, you see a lot of snow and a lot of ice, but underneath it all, a public golf course, Alpensia 700. Alpensia means fantastic Alps of Asia, and little surprise, you'd find a golf course in this golf-crazed nation that has produced the likes of Sayri Pak, Inbee Park, and KJ NBA choice. So what about biathlon? Why should you care about this sport that involves cross-country skiing and rifle shooting? Well, it's the only Winter Olympic sport where an American has never won an Olympic medal. Not gold, not silver, not bronze. But this fortnight, a couple of chances. Lowell Bailey, he won gold in the World Championships in 2017, and Susan Dunkley won silver in the World Championships. So maybe this is the fortnight that the Americans break through. So be sure to watch biathlon and all the Olympic events on the networks of NBC. For now, we send it back to the studio to Tom.
Really special every 4 years to see the Winter Games, and the world comes together for the Winter Olympics, and for the first time you can see it coast to coast live. It is the Winter Olympics beginning tonight on NBC.
Well, time to take a look at social media, and Bubba Watson had posted this. He is going to be part of the NBA All-Star Game for Team Clippers. Not just rooting for them, he is going to be coming off of the bench, and it's going to be perfect with the Genesis Open. He goes right from one thing to another in LA. Can't wait. This should be fun. I don't personally know about his basketball skills, but maybe they do translate, Paige.
They could. He doesn't strike me as somebody that has a lot of hops, but you never know. He's got a soft touch around the greens, maybe a good three-point shooter. Good assist man. I don't know. I was actually hoping Gary Woodland might be able to throw in the mix.
That's
He's
a
a
good
former
one.
basketball player.
Him and DJ.
Yeah.
That'd be good to watch.
But
who knows? Maybe Bubba will surprise us all.
What an exciting opportunity.
For sure. And you know what? Maybe that will be the little confidence boost he needs on the course. Get a little love from the NBA fans. Send that over to the PGA Tour. All right, time to take a look at the tee sheet. Talking a lot about athletes switching from one to another. We take you through what's coming up next. Tony Romo has been shining in the broadcast booth for the NFL. He's playing at Pebble Beach this week. And his golf career is going a step further with the sponsor exemption to play in the PGA Tour's stop at Punta Cana next month. And we are rolling on with Wellness Week. When you're spending hours on the course, we share the fact and fiction of nutrition, everything you need to know. And when it comes to sleep, I love mine. Need that 8 hours. Sleep deprivation does hit a lot of people, though. Dr. Ara on a house call. He's going to share information that can help you sleep better. Morning drive rolling on. Good to be with you guys.
Do you actually get 8 hours? Because I definitely don't.
Depends.
I'm not
when I do this.
No, not Big
6
Show.
to 7 for me.
Wait, what?
Around 6 to
Oh, I
7.
thought you meant like